stay tuned because for the next 60 minutes, Motorsports Unlimited is on the air. Hi, I'm Jerry Bryant, and these are the lovely ladies of motorsports. And all this hour, we're going to have 60 minutes of action-packed excitement. All kinds of exciting things will happen. And we got the famous Bill Wildt, and we got all kinds of other good stuff that's happening all this hour. Motorsports Unlimited, 60 minutes of non-stop action. So let's go to the studio right now, huh?
Thanks, Jerry, and hi, everybody. Welcome to the studio headquarters of Chicagoland's most watched, most talked about Access television series. I'm Samantha Bentley, and this is the 1082nd edition of Motorsports Unlimited. Today, we're taking you to the spectacular World of Wheels car show held annually at McCormick Place on Chicago's lakefront. Of course, our regular viewers know this event is the granddaddy of all rod and custom shows in the Chicagoland area. But what they may not know is it's also the home of the Legends of Motorsports Guild. Chicago's World of Wheels show has become one of America's most prestigious motorsport events and has grown into much more than a rod and custom show. Each year, the Legends of Motorsports Guild selects 3 prominent people in the motorsport community who have contributed significantly in specific areas and honors them with a Lifetime Achievement Award at their annual brunch. Guess what? This year, our own Bill Wildt was selected in the media category. He was flattered, honored, and humbled. Let's begin our coverage of the 2008 World of Wheels show by checking out Bill's reaction shortly after the Legends of Motorsports Guild brunch.
We have just attended, I should get the official name of this. It's the Legends...
the Legends of Motorsports.
Legends of Motorsport brunch, and what this is something they started doing, I think about 4 or 5 years ago?
I think they said 3 years ago.
Okay, we're not really sure. Apparently we don't have our facts straight, but that's not the important part. The important part is that what they do here at the World of Wheels, and of course the World of Wheels, and we are at the World of Wheels, is the granddaddy of all of the car shows throughout the year. I mean, we've got some big summer shows, like we've got the Joliet Father's Day car show and all that, but when it comes to the granddaddy of all of the rod and custom shows, I think everyone would agree it's the World of Wheels, and I think this is the 46th year.
World of Wheels has a little of everything, from your stock to your radical motorcycles, hot rods, you name it. They have it here.
That's exactly right. And the important thing is World of Wheels is a whole lot more than just about cars and motorcycles and all that. What World of Wheels is also about is celebrities. They bring in celebrities. It's a very big deal. And several years ago, they decided to start doing this brunch where they honor I'm going to use the word important, although now that I'm included, I'm uncomfortable with that, but where they honor some important people in motorsports, and it really is something special. Over the years, I've seen Broadway Bob be indoctrinated into this group that they have, and not just Broadway Bob, but Jan Gabriel, my friend Jan Gabriel and everything. And lo and behold, this year, and there are always 3 inductees, and this year it was Chris Carmazini's, and everybody I hope remembers the Golden Greek. As a matter of fact, we're standing right in front of his car, the Chiseler, or next to his car, the Chiseler, and I told the story in the brunch that way back in 1960 or 61, I was at the old Oswego drag strip, and we had heard 6 months or so earlier that Chris Carmazini's had run over 200 miles an hour in Alton, Illinois at 204, and lo and behold, on that day, this car, running against a car called the Guzzler, ran 206 miles an hour. It was the first 200 mile an hour pass at Oswego Dragway. Very, very cool. Anyway, Chris Carmazini was inducted into this kind of Hall of Fame, as was, and I always call him Bob Strange because everybody knows Strange Engineering. Strange Engineering designs, builds, and manufactures all of the big-time top fuel dragster rear ends and pieces and a wide variety of other things. They've made a huge contribution to the sport. And they also have a media person that they pick every year, and this year it was me. And the reason I'm telling you all this is part of this, I've got a very, very nice trophy, but beyond that, the jacket I'm wearing, and I hope you can see that. The jacket I'm wearing is part of it. It puts you in sort of a special club, a little bit, I suppose, like the green jacket for the golfers.
For the Masters,
For
yes.
the Masters, all right. And I'm very proud of it. And so I said to myself, I'm getting rid of my sport coat. And on today's program, I'm going to wear the jacket. I feel very, very honored and humbled that someone thought I belonged in that group. So before they find out that I don't, I'm going to take the jacket and run. Now, I've spoken all this time. We've got little Mei Chin here. I want to make sure we introduce Mei Chin. Mei Chin, are you ready with that stopwatch?
Yes.
Are you timing this piece?
Yes.
You already started, so you were ready to stop. You better hold on to it because I'm getting ready to wind up here. And of course, we've got Janine Lauschat, and you guys were all at the brunch today.
We enjoyed that very much.
That's right. We should mention Samantha was there, and Peggy O'Donnell. For those of you, Peggy O'Donnell was at the brunch also. And who else? I don't want to leave somebody out.
Bob Delia.
Bob Delia, our old announcer, Bob Delia. So it was a great time. Now we're going to get going now with the World of Wheels cars because that's really what World of Wheels is all. Well, I shouldn't say that. World of Wheels is about a lot of things. Not the least of which, of course, is all the great cars and motorcycles, but personalities and now this very, very important event. As you can see, I'm still quite high from it.
I was there too. It was really special, and it was nice to see Bill receiving recognition for all his hard work for so many years. Now, let's get to the cars, starting with a fine example of a special display the World of Wheels arranged called Motorama, the fabulous 50s era.
They always have kind of special displays at the World of Wheels show, and I'm always kind of surprised when I come here to find out what they put together. This year, something very, very special, something called a Motorama, and it looks like a lot of great cars from the fabulous 50s. At least that's what the big sign says. Have I got it about right?
You got it.
You are.
Rich Kanzler from Dixon, Illinois.
Where?
Dixon, Illinois.
Now, is that in America?
It better be.
I'm teasing you. I'm just kidding. I always do that to the out-of-towners. Anyhow, hopefully you're having a good time here in Chicago.
We are.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Now, you've got one of the cars in Motorama.
Yes, sir. I've got a 1957 Corvette.
Okay, 57 Corvette is one of those cars that I always said if I could ever afford a car collection, 57 Corvette would have to be it. I'd have to have a 57 Corvette. I'd have to have an L88 Corvette. I'd have to have a ZR1 Corvette. Let me see. What am I leaving out? What I can.
That was the last idea.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, just the classic, the 57 Corvette was the last year with single headlights, and I think the body style of the early Vettes was best shown by the 57. Do you agree?
I agree, totally.
Okay, and you've got a tool quad version.
Yes.
And I didn't look inside. 4-speed?
4-speed, 411 positive traction Marin.
Very cool. Now it's obviously completely restored. Did you do any of the work?
I did all of it.
No.
Everything.
You personally did the hammering and sawing?
I did everything to this car.
Now everybody always says everything but the paint.
I did that.
You did the paint too.
The paint, the interior, the top, convertible top.
How long did it take you?
Well, I've had the car for about 15 years, and it takes me, when you get tired of working on it, you put it away, and then you get enthused, you work on it.
Okay, why a 57 Corvette?
Well, I've got a 55 Thunderbird we showed in the 80s in ISCA. And so I got to the point I wanted something else, so my wife and I purchased this car out in Ohio.
My guess was going to be, and you will forgive me, but you appear to be about my age. And I went into high school in 1957, so I was just wondering if it's something you were reaching back for from your... No, nothing?
I graduated in 57.
So you're a little older than that.
Probably a week or so.
Yeah, so, but it wasn't something, you weren't reaching back or anything
No.
like that?
No, I had a 56 Corvette back in 58, and I had it for a while, and I sold it. And I always liked my Corvettes. So.
Well, it's certainly nice cars to like. Now, what was the most difficult part of the restoration?
I don't think there was any difficult part.
Are you a professional mechanic or?
No, I'm just a auto body repairman. I've done this all my life, and I just enjoy doing it.
So there's no mysteries to you or anything like that?
No.
Well, I'll tell you something, folks. You have to be here. As I've said so many times on these programs, you have to attend these shows in person to really appreciate them. This is an exquisite car, and he says he did the paintwork himself. Folks, black is the most difficult color, and this is glass smooth from one end to the other. You really have to see it to appreciate it. Now, is there anything that you're particularly proud of on the car that you'd like the audience to know about that I haven't asked?
Well, a lot of people don't understand what goes into these cars as far as the little detail things for your National Corvette Restoration Society cars. Nuts and bolts have to be the correct finish and the correct markings on them.
So this one is correct even to the bolts?
Probably 85%, yes.
What can be done?
Probably a lot of little things, not much, but just little things.
Well, listen, I want to congratulate you. It's a great car, and I'll tell you something. This is a rarity when we find someone that has done every bit of the work themselves. And by the way, this is not a criticism. Most people will say, I did everything but the paint and interior. Sometimes you'll find somebody did the paint or the interior too, but rarely do you ever find someone did everything, including the paint. You are to be congratulated, my friend. Beautiful job. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to see what else they've got here. If I can find somebody else here in this Motorama, this is pretty cool. This is fabulous cars from the 50s, and we will see if we can find somebody else here before we move on.
As you can see, Bill isn't about to take off his just acquired Legends of Motorsports Guild honorary jacket. He's very proud of it. On the other hand, it's a winter coat and very warm. Let's see if he melts or takes it off first. I'm betting he won't take it off. Now, while looking for another Motorama car, we were surprised by a man with an exquisite T Roadster. The Roadster didn't surprise us, but the man displaying it did. Listen as Bill explains.
You never know who you're going to run into the world of wheels, and you never know what kind of information you're going to end up finding out. First of all, tell the folks who you are.
I'm David Mackley from the city of Joliet.
That's right, and if he's anything like Baz, you want to give me about a half-hour pitch on Joliet, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We always want to pitch our car show down there in Joliet.
Not just your car show, you want to pitch your town.
Absolutely. We just have a wonderful show down there.
And what he's talking about, of course, is that for many, many years we've been covering the Joliet Father's Day car show every year, and it's come to be known as the big one because, like the World of Wheels, they don't do it in a small way down here in Joliet. It's 2 days or 3?
We are running 2 days now. We used to be 3, now we're 2.
2 days, but you're talking about bands and fireworks and car shows and drag boats on the water. It's just an extravaganza.
Absolutely. We have burnouts, the four-wheel drive guys in the mud pits. We got freestyle motocrossers. It's just a great show.
You guys are sort of the World of Wheels of the summer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'd like to think so.
No,
it's
you
a
guys,
great honor.
You do a wonderful job down there. In any event, what I didn't know, of course I knew all that, and those that have been following Motorsports Unlimited for years know that we were involved very much with the beginning of the Joliet Father's Day car show weekend with our old friend Dick Bazzaroni, a great drag boats driver and a fan of Joliet. I think we could honestly say what I didn't know is Baz retired, and obviously I get a little concerned when some of the guys move on and all that, and I was introduced to his assistant, who I sort of knew before that. He kind of helped us a little bit, but guess what I found? He emails me this winter, the car that he just acquired. You're a car guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not, a heavy-duty car guy.
Oh yeah, I've been into it for years.
I think that's so cool when the people that put on our shows and all that also have a personal, kind of an emotional tie with what we do. Tell the folks about your car. What have you got?
Yeah, well, I got a 1923 T-Bucket. It's something that I've always really, really wanted to have since I was
You and me both.
So I finally got one, and I'm just really, really happy and just having a blast with it.
Tell us what it is, frame, engine, driveline.
It's total performance. It's got a 350 GM crate motor in it that's worked over, and total performance frame, and it's a nice little piece.
Did you do any of the work on it?
I disassembled it, of course, for this show and cleaned it all up. I put the Hillborn scoop on it, and I did put new headers and side pipes on it because they were getting a little bit old. The car's about 5 years old, so we brightened it back up and painted the block in that. But other than that, I'll tell you, it's a real nice piece. I bought it that way. I was very fortunate.
Well, if I can talk him into it, we're going to maybe do something a little extra special here as we get a little closer to the summer. This is one of those cars that I would really like to go there and drive the car and use the helmet cam and take the audience along, because I've talked about this on Motorsports Unlimited several times. It's not just about having a cool car. When you're deciding what you're going to build, you want to think about a cool driving experience too. And that's why I like the dune buggies so much, and I love the T Roadsters, because it's not just a cool car, it's a cool driving experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blast to drive, and the acceleration's unreal.
You bet. Well, listen, we're going to move on now, and again, of course, we're going to see you Father's Day, right?
Oh, absolutely. You'll see me Father's Day, and believe me, on behalf of the city of Joliet, I wanted to just congratulate you on your induction into the Legends Motorsports Guild. That's just a great, great honor.
I'm telling you something, when I was sitting up on the podium, I was torn between certainly being very appreciative and all that, and hoping they wouldn't find out I didn't belong up there, because I was sitting right next to Chris Carmazzini and Bob Stange from Strange Engineering. I says, I don't belong up here.
Oh, but you do belong up there, Bill.
Well,
You've
thank
done
you.
so much for our car show alone, and I know all the coverage of all the motorsports and the promotions that you've done over the years. You're very deserving.
Well, like I said, I'm a happy man. Now, all the work that I do is about things that I love and enjoy. Anyway, we're going to move on, Bob, but this is probably not the last you've seen of this man in his car, because this might be a perfect opportunity for me to talk about cool driving experience.
Yeah, come on down and we'll let you drive.
Thank you. I got it on tape.
Next, we found the owner of another of those fabulous 50s era Motorama cars. Let's meet him.
One of the hardest things about doing the World of Wheels, as a matter of fact, any of these big indoor elaborate car shows that we have during the winter in the Chicagoland area, is trying to round up the people. They have an extraordinary collection here of what they're calling the fabulous 50s cars, meaning the big, some people would call them lead sleds. I'd call them wonderful highway cruising machines. Anyhow, they've got a great collection of them down here, and I'd love to get every one of the guys on the air, and I can't find them. Well, guess what? I found one that's got a great one, and you are.
I'm Terry Juraski. I have Glenwood Oaks Restaurant in Glenwood, Illinois.
And where are you from?
I live in Dyer, Indiana.
I was going to say Glenwood, isn't that Indiana? I guess not.
No, Glenwood, Illinois.
Right on the border.
We're about 20 miles south of here.
Okay, your car. Absolutely exquisite Cadillac. Tell us what you have. Start with the make, year, and model, please.
Boy, a 1955 Cadillac that's won the awards around the country for the past 4 years. It's been a trailer queen, and I put it on the road.
You actually drive it?
These guys at my cruise nights at Glenwood Oaks, unbelievable.
Really? So you guys do a cruise night down there, too?
That's what got into my blood. I haven't been in cars all my life, and now I am.
Is that seriously that you have a restaurant and you're looking for kind of a catch or something to attract some attention to it? You start doing a cruise night and you end up getting into cars?
Absolutely, exactly right, Bill.
That's reverse, but it's the best.
More marketing, and the cars got into my blood, and now I take carburetor cleaner instead of aspirin when I get a headache.
Isn't that the truth? Now, you mentioned before we went on you didn't build it?
No, I did not, but I learned how to clean it, buff it, learned the difference between polish and wax, and I'm learning every day.
Sounds like you're having a good time with the car.
It's unbelievable.
Now, what size engine does this one have?
This is a 250 horse. Everything is standard. Everything is correct to this car for 1955. And like I said, it's won all the awards around the country.
Okay, now is there anything you're particularly proud of on the car that I haven't thought to ask?
How about the finish? I work a lot on the finish and the buffing.
That's your part of it, huh?
That's it.
Well, you seem like a guy that's having a good time with cars.
I really enjoy it. I drive it down the street, and I just hope everybody stays away from me.
Well, I'll tell you something. Here is Exhibit A. I talk to people all the time about it because I think motorsport has something for everyone. And even if you haven't been a car guy all your life, here's a guy apparently that hasn't been and somehow found out it was pretty cool.
It gets in your blood.
That's what I keep saying.
A cruise night in Glenwood. My husband Art and I will have to check it out this summer. Now, let's chat with one of the finest car builders in the country. He's probably best known for his Pebble Beach winners or Radical rods. But he's quite proud of this restoration of what we might call a normal car.
Well, I've got about 5 stories here right now, but of course, if you know me and you know Motorsports Unlimited, you know I'm not going to do it this way. Pam, if you would, please come on over here. I never do shows without the pretty girls, and when I've got an opportunity to bring a pretty girl into the shot, I bring her in right off the bat. That's okay. She's dropping her purse. She's panicking. Please step right in and step over just a touch like this and bring the lady in so we can see her, and you are.
I'm Pam.
You're Pam, and you're Pete's friend.
Right.
That's right. And you can understand. Don't run away, because we need all the pretty girls we can on Motorsports Unlimited. Now tell the folks who you are.
Pete Sanchez.
Pete Sanchez, and we've had Pete Sanchez on the program now, I would say probably 20, 30 times at least over the years.
Well, I don't know about that many, but quite a few.
Okay, and you're the owner of Custom Cars Unlimited.
Correct.
All right, let me tell you a real quick story here. I got 5 or 6 quick stories. First of all, I am so proud of all of the shops in the Chicagoland area that do the kind of work that's what I call world-class work. I'm thinking of Brent Jarvis. I'm sure you've seen his work. I don't want to leave somebody out. There are probably a half a dozen guys in the Chicagoland area that do work in a world-class level. Troy Trepanier, I think you would agree?
Correct.
Well, this is one of them, and I don't have to say it. He's had 2 Pebbles Beach winners. And if you've ever had one Pebbles Beach winner, you're in that category of being the best in the world. Fair enough?
Yes.
And you've had two.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. I've got another story, though, that I think is pretty cute that he's probably going to kill me for talking about. You don't mind if I say this, do you?
No, go ahead.
All right. Folks, you know that I think this whole thing with the Brushmasters, and we haven't gotten to that yet, but if you've been watching Motorsports Unlimited, you know I've made quite a thing about what they're doing here at the World of Wheels this year with the Brushmasters, which is all of the artists of the motorsport community that are working down here in a special display and all that. And I'm going to do a whole show about that. I have such appreciation for their work, and the best story I've got about how underappreciated they are involves my friend Pete Sanchez. Years ago, I built the world's most powerful motorcycle, 6,640 horsepower,
Correct.
and you were the man, your shop did all the paint work on it, all the paint and body work, correct?
Right.
Okay. Well, unbeknownst to me, you do the sheet metal work and the painting and all that, but you have an artist that comes in to do the graphics and the lettering and the striping, right?
Right.
Okay, which is not unusual. That's kind of typical, correct?
Right.
Okay. So anyway, they've got the bike over there, and I stopped by several times, and I saw the work, and the work was beautiful and progressing beautifully. And one day I'm over there, and he's kind of laying out some of the artwork on it and all that, getting ready to do final painting. I don't think anything about it. A week or so later, I come back, get the bike, and it's absolutely world-class gorgeous. It couldn't be more beautiful. A few weeks later, I hear the story. Apparently, you got into a spat with the artist, and the artist is an extremely talented, world-class guy, Greg Wiedemann. Am I saying? How am I doing right?
Right.
Okay. Apparently, they got into, and that's not unusual to get into little spats with the artist, right?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
And so he, on his own, he said to himself, "The heck with it," and you were going to lay out all the artwork yourself.
Right.
So he goes through the work of just like I would, because you're not German. I'm German. You're not German, are you?
No.
But you act like a German when it comes to your work.
Yes.
Very detailed, very accurate, right?
Yes.
And you laid out every letter exactly the right height with exactly the same space between every letter, right?
Right.
Greg stops by, I guess maybe kind of wanted to make up or something. He sees what he's doing, and he says, "Have you lost your mind? What are you doing?" He says, "Well, we got to get this job done, and this is, blah, 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 like this and everything." And he goes and he rips all the tape off and everything that you put on.
Right.
Because an artist knows that the letters aren't all the same height, that the A has to go above the line. If it doesn't go above the line, it will look small. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
The O's, the top of the O and the bottom of the O have to go above and below the line, or the letter will look to the eye, it'll offend the eye.
Absolutely.
And Greg knew all of that, and when he got it done, it was absolutely gorgeous. But I got such a kick out of this story because I think that's the underappreciated part of the artists that work in the motorsport community, and I would love somehow for the public to come to appreciate their work.
Yeah, and people would never really know that. They just think that it's a simple lettering, and
right.
It's not a big deal, but it is.
If you look at the sign and it doesn't offend the eye, believe me, it was a talented artist that did it. It's not easy.
Absolutely.
Okay, we are standing in front of, apparently you've got 5 cars down here today, but we're standing in front of an absolutely exquisite car. Please tell us about it and start with the make, year, and model.
Well, it's a 1956 Dodge 2-door Suburban, rather rare, 348 V8 motor, automatic. The owner found it in a field, and about the bottom 12 inches was rotted out. So we went ahead and did all the metal work and the body work on it. And then the owner spent about 12 years finding the parts and putting it together to get it to this point.
Well, I'll tell you something, and this again is those things, I keep saying it over and over again. You have to come to these shows in person to really appreciate this work. I assume somewhere you have pictures of how it looked to begin with, or no?
Oh yes, from the very beginning.
Yeah, there wasn't much car to start with.
No. You would think that it was impossible to fix the car, and it wasn't worth it. But to the owner, it was.
And it looks like a brand new car now.
Oh yes.
How long did it take you?
It didn't take us 12 years, but from the time the owner bought the car till the time it was completely done, he spent 12 years on it.
And how long did it take you once you got it?
We spent about a year on it, doing the metal work and the body work on it, and then the fit and finish of all the parts.
What are you most proud of on it?
The metal work, I would say.
Because so much of the bottom was gone?
Oh yes.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for spending a little bit of time with us, and if you would, I want you to change places with Pam, so if you can just step over 1 foot, don't run away, and come back over here like this. What I would like you to do, would you do something for me?
What's that?
I want you to look at the camera, and I want you to say,
"Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back."
Stop teasing the girls, Bill. Get back to work. When we found out who had the next display, we had to find him and get him on the air so Bill could do some more teasing.
I've got a guy with me now that's got to be taking more razzing than anybody else at the show today. First of all, tell the folks who you are.
My name's Denny Guest.
Anybody that knows Denny Guest knows that he's Mr. Mopar, am I right?
Yes, sir.
You have probably one of the biggest collection of Hemi cars, perhaps in the country?
Well, no, I'm sure we got a good size of collection, but it's a lot bigger than mine.
Well, okay, it's a big collection of Hemi. If you got more than two, it's a big collection. You got more than two.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're a Mopar dealer, South Oak Dodge.
Yes, sir.
So lo and behold, I've been by this display a half a dozen times today because it's so striking. I wanted to make sure that we got it on the air. And finally, I approached it from the front, and I see on a license plate, Denny Guest.
Yes.
And I said, that can't be it. That's a Ford.
You're right. I'm also a Ford dealer.
Well, I guess it's okay then, right?
You're right.
Tell us about it. What do we got here?
It's a 1957 Ford. I bought it pretty much as you see it, customized. And I always had a love for low-ride custom cruisers, you know. And we did a few different changes to it. Put our the interior in it and a couple other things.
Now when you say it was already done when you got it?
Well, as you primarily see it, other than the fender skirts, we put the side pipes on it. The paint and everything is the way we got it.
Now, do you drive the car?
Not yet. I just got it done.
So it's brand new to you?
Show, right.
Okay, engine?
It's a 390, a 1968
Now
drive.
watch this, because I'm not so dialed into the Mopars, even though I love Mopars. It's 392.
No, it's a Ford, 68 Ford.
So you put a different motor in it?
Yes, got a 68 Ford.
Okay. Let me let the audience in on what's going on. He said it's a 290 and our 390. I thought he said 290, and I was going to correct him because the early Ford Y block was available at a 272, a 292, and a 312. So I assumed it was a 292, and he says right away, no, 390. Well, they didn't have that's the big block, and they didn't have the big block until 58, and this is a 57, and the big block was a 352, a 390, a 406, and a 427. How am I doing?
You're doing real good.
So you've got a late model motor in here too then?
Right.
So this is actually a real driver then?
Right. Yeah, it's got the correct transmission, the C6, I believe it is, and its complete driveline has been changed.
Okay, that's not all that attracted me to this display. I absolutely love the Cushman scooter on the other side.
That's great.
Tell us about it. What is it?
That's a 57 Cushman. It really doesn't belong to me. It belongs to Bob Cardwell. He built it, and it's got a V2 Briggs & Stratton, and when that thing runs, it sounds like a Harley.
Okay, so it's not an original Cushman then. It's been modified?
It's been modified.
Yeah, because they originally had a single-cylinder, I think a Briggs engine.
You got me on that one.
Okay.
But it's been stretched almost 9 inches. And it's just a great little machine. It runs all over the place.
It really is. Let me explain to the audience, hopefully as they're looking at pictures, if I know how to do it, they're looking at pictures of the scooter. This was at a time when the motorcycle industry didn't quite know what the future of motorcycling was going to be. Cushman had the Cushman Eagles, the very successful Eagles, which looked more like a motorcycle, although they had the small wheels of a scooter, and they had a 5-horse Eagle and an 8-horse Eagle. And then they came along with these, and they weren't the only ones. There were several other companies with these streamlined body work on it and all that, thinking that was perhaps, as often happened in the 50s, the mid and late 50s, boat manufacturers did the tail fin boats and all that sort of thing.
Right.
And this was kind of along the same lines. It never took off, but they're very cool looking back at them, aren't they?
Now they are.
Now they are. Now we look back at them. Anyhow, is there anything I missed on your display that you want the audience to know about?
No, not a thing. And enjoy it.
As a matter of fact, I noticed something on the commercials for the World of Wheels. Apparently you're a sponsor here too?
Yes, we are.
Well, thank you so much. Anybody that steps forward to keep these great shows going.
Yeah, we love it.
No, I'll tell you something. This is the granddaddy of all of the rod and custom. This, I believe, is the 46th year?
I believe so, yeah.
46 years.
We've been with Harry about 5 years, 6 years, and this is by far one of the greatest.
It's just, like I say, we are so lucky here in the Chicagoland area. There are only 3 car shows all winter long, but they're great ones. You got Chevy Vet Fest opening the winter car show season, World of Wheels smack in the middle, and then Chevy Vet Fest closing the season. Pretty cool. I think we're pretty lucky in this area.
We sure are. We got to do something about them Chevys, though.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's a Mopar guy all the way. Have you been taking some razzing?
Oh, yeah, you betcha.
Have you really?
Yeah.
That's okay. It's all cars, right?
That's right.
Okay. That's something I do know about Denny. I know him a little bit, and I know he's a real car guy, and while he is a Mopar guy, he likes all of them.
Denny Guest owns a number of car dealerships, but his heart is with Mopars. It occurred to Bill after the interview, many of you might not know what Mopar means, so he asked me to explain. It means anything made by Chrysler Corporation. Of course, the truth is, if you're a car guy, you like all of them. Certainly we do. Check out this exceptional owner-built Ford Ranchero.
If you've been watching Motorsports Unlimited for any length of time, you know that I think that chrome yellow is one of the best colors you can have for a race car, and apparently it works for a show car too, because this one drew my eyes to it right away. First of all, you are?
I'm Charles Munns.
Where are you from, Charles?
I'm from DeKalb, Illinois.
Tell us about your car. What have you got? And please start with the make, year, and model.
It's a 1967 Ford Ranchero, and it has a 289 small block Ford engine in it. It's got a Holley supercharger on it, and it's got a C4 automatic transmission. It's got an 8-inch differential in the rear, and it's got a custom paint job on it and a custom interior in it. And I put custom four-wheel disc brakes all the way around on it, and a lot of chrome, as you can see, and it's just a nice vehicle.
It looks like a full-blown show car. You will forgive me, but I was kind of smiling when you were saying, I did this, I did that. Looks like you built it from the ground up.
Yes, I did. I bought it, and I tore it all apart, and I'd done everything on it except for the paint.
So you personally did the hammering and sawing?
Yes, I did.
What were you trying to accomplish?
Just what you see right now. It's just started out, and it's just kept going from there.
What do you mean? Now, did you want a driver, or did you want strictly a show car?
No, this is a driver. I have driven it. It's got like 1,700 miles on it in about a year and a half.
Really?
Yes, I go to a lot of shows in the summertime with it, car shows.
So your objective was what, kind of a cruise joint car thing?
Exactly. At cruise nights and and car shows on Sunday, I do a lot of them during the summertime.
Well, it's a beautiful piece of work. Now, is there anything that you're particularly proud of that I haven't thought to mention?
Well, yeah, there is. When the guy did the body work on it, he cut and welded all the seams on the whole vehicle underneath the car and everything, and filled them all in so it's real smooth looking.
So everything has been what I would call seamed. All the seams have been covered and welded and all that?
Exactly.
A ton of work.
A ton of work, a ton of hours.
Now, did you do any of that part of it?
No, I did not. Like I said, I didn't do nothing on the body work, and I'm mechanically, but nothing to do with body.
Any interest in what it might do at a drag strip?
Well, it's putting out about 350 horsepower. I think it should be somewhere in maybe the low 11s.
But do you have no curiosity to take it out and try it?
No, I really didn't build it for that. I just built it for the street.
You don't want to break it?
That's right. It costs too much to fix it again.
Well, listen, it's a great car, very, very striking. And once again, when you're at the World of Wheels, the problem is everywhere you look is striking. So here's the deal. My biggest problem is finding people with their cars. So if you didn't get picked to be on the show, please believe me, it wasn't because your car wasn't worthy. In all likelihood, you weren't at your car when I happened to come by, and that's a big problem I have. But fortunately, this fellow was. What an absolute show-stopping Ranchero.
You don't have to be a car person to enjoy the World of Wheels. The displays are so beautiful, it's like an art show. Here is another example.
You know, it's really sad. When you go to the World of Wheels or any of these big elaborate car shows, Chevy, I should say all of the car shows, there are so many cars that don't get on the air because I can't find the owners with their cars. I came over here to a section where I am surrounded with first-class show cars, and it's terribly frustrating that I can't find the owners because I can't tell you about them because I don't know about them. Well, guess what? One of these first-class show cars, the owner happened to be with it, and I got him, and you are?
Scott Downs from Liberty, Ohio. Liberty Township, Ohio.
Is that in America?
Yes, it's America.
That's
it's about
an old joke.
About 20 miles north of Cincinnati.
I shouldn't do that to these guys. They're from out of town and they don't know me. Hopefully you're being treated well here in Chicago.
Great.
Okay. Tell me about your car, and I want you to start with the make, year, and model.
63 Chevy Impala convertible, 350 crate Chevy in it, 350 turbo, trans, candy apple red, which you see that.
And did you do any of the work?
Did a lot of the engine, but a buddy of mine, Jimmy Boynott in Fairfield, Ohio, did the paint, and a guy named Darren Cutter out of Dillsboro, Indiana, did the interior for me.
What were you trying to accomplish with the car?
The colors to flow well, old school, hot rod, but not over the top.
Did you want something you could end up driving? It was strictly a show car.
It's a show car, but it's set up to drive. I mean, I'm going to run the show for a couple of years, 3 years, and then I'm going to drive it.
Because, you know, it's a very I would think for somebody like yourself, it's frustrating. You spend all of that time and money building an absolutely exquisite car and then not drive it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's
frustrating,
hard.
absolutely.
Yes, it's frustrating. Wrapped up in plastic, sitting in the garage.
Yeah, and yet, if you use it, it's no longer exquisite.
No, it's not.
It's terrible.
It is.
It really is. Is there anything you're particularly proud of in the car that I haven't thought to mention?
No, you really haven't. No, I really like the lines on it. It sits well.
Okay, you seem to be a little young to appreciate a 63 Chevy.
It's the year I was born.
Thank you.
It was my wife's aunt's car, and her husband bought it for her in '63. 3 months after he bought it for her, he had a heart attack and died. So it was in the family the whole time. And then when she passed away, I got it when she.
What brings you? What motivates you to bring it all the way from Ohio?
The guys call me. They come here.
Right, it's a big show. It's an important show.
Yeah, and I'm traveling with the ISCA.
So you're doing a whole circuit?
Yeah.
Well,
I did this. Yes.
And are you pursuing a point?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
yes.
How are we doing on points?
226. I've won best custom in the last 2 shows.
Really?
Yes.
So
that was in Atlanta and that was in Grand Rapids.
Now, ultimately, is there a champion in your class?
Yes, there is.
And how close are you to something like that?
Well, that'd be a March. In a March, and that'd be in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska.
Do you still have a shot?
Yes, I do.
Well, we wish you the best luck. It's an absolutely gorgeous car. It really is. It's beautiful. And actually, one of my favorite colors, folks. Let's see what else we can find here. And like I say, it's frustrating for me. I am surrounded right now by absolutely exquisite show cars, and I can't find the owners.
As you can tell, the World of Wheels is national in scope, with exhibitors from all over the country competing. It's a very special event and only comes once a year. With its 46-year history, there is much that is familiar. On the other hand, they continually reinvent the show with additional features like the Legends of Motorsports brunch and a spectacular trophy created recently with a unique purpose in mind. Let's listen as Bob Ashton explains.
Well, usually I grab the boss and start the show that way, but I was so excited about the award that I received earlier today that I started without him. But that doesn't mean we're going to do the whole show without him. First, tell the folks who you are.
My name is Bob Ashton. I'm from Championship Auto Shows, and I'm the co-show manager here.
All right, what I'd like you to do is explain the gorgeous trophy that we're standing next to.
What we're standing next to is the Legend Cup, presented by the Absorber. And this is the award that was started last year, and it is awarded to a first-time shown in Chicago vehicle.
As I understand it, the trophy remains with the show, but the names get added to it each year, but a portion of the trophy is awarded. Help me.
That's exactly right. The cup at the top, which weighs close to 100 pounds, does go to the winner. It's as you stated, the winner is engraved in the base of the award, and we're just honored. The cars that are coming in for this and are competing are just phenomenal.
I will tell you this, I cannot tell you how frustrating it is for me. I just talked to the fellow with this beautiful candy red 63 Chevy, and all around me are gorgeous show cars, and I can't find the owners. I cannot tell you how frustrating that is. The people just have to come to the show in person. That's all there is to it.
Oh, absolutely. And not to get off that subject, but I would like to personally congratulate you. I feel honored to be here with you, and truly a well-deserved award.
As I said, I am humbled and flattered, and somehow someone felt I belonged there. I'm glad I got out of there with the jacket and everything before they figured it out.
I'm sure all of the Chicagoland area agrees with me, and we'd like to extend a heartfelt congratulations. We are honored to have you as part of our shows.
Well, thank you so much. Now, what I want to talk about is one of the things that we like to do over the years. You don't know this, but for example, with Al Furkey and Ken Hanna, who created the Chevy Vet Fest shows, we actually went to their shop and did an in-depth interview with both of them, because it's really important to me that the people that participate in these shows in the Chicagoland area know you guys.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important. And we did this with John Langston.
Right.
Went to his shop, did a whole thing about his car collection.
Yep.
And with each and every one of these guys that do the local car shows and the major car shows, we've done. The thing that I was so impressed about with you that I did not know, you're a car guy.
In my off time, I'm at other car shows, and as you know, I told you about my adventures at the Hot Rod Power Tour this year, and I live and breathe this, and this is just such an honor for me to be a part of Championship Auto Shows, and I'm like you, I love my job.
Well, I was so surprised at the last Chevy Vet Fest show where I found out about this, that I got a hold of my friend John Platania, who we use as a Camaro and Chevelle expert.
Right.
He says, "Oh yeah, Bob Ashton, you see him everywhere. He knows the cars inside and out." And I'm very pleased about that, because I think it makes the exhibitors more comfortable if they're dealing with somebody that's one of them. Do you know what I mean?
I absolutely do, and that's the thing. You know, we talk about the cars and the motorcycles and the bicycles and that. It's really about the people.
If I can jump in for a moment, without a doubt, if I've learned anything in my life, I don't care what it is, it gets down to it's about the people.
It really is. And having a job like this where I'm able to interact with the people and get to know the collectors and the people that really put their hearts and souls into these vehicles, it's just really an honor for me to be out among the builders and collectors that we have. And the Chicagoland area is just fantastic for that.
It never ceases. I've been on the air for 22 years now, and it never ceases to amaze me. I go from car show to car show to car show, new cars all the time. I'm astonished at the numbers and the quality. It's amazing.
Absolutely, and that's what the Legend Cup is all about. As you say, it brings in new cars that people haven't seen before. It's a little bit more incentive. And as you know, with our company, we produce 22 of the Autorama and World of Wheels shows throughout the country, along with the 2 Chevy Vet Fest shows. Chicago is the only city that we actually produce 3 separate shows in. We start our indoor season, as you say. Here we are in January at World of Wheels. And then we close out our indoor car show season with Chevy Vet Fest.
And you're about to give the date. Now, watch, I put him on the spot, and I didn't ask him if he knows first.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I work 24 hours a day on this. April 5th and 6th, we'll be returning to Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont. And we're excited about that. Our pre-registration has been fantastic.
Well, you couldn't possibly outdo what you did in the fall of 2007. In other words, the last one. 500 cars.
508 cars. It was an all-time record. I'm happy to say we're up in all aspects. The swap meet has grown. Our commercial sales have gone up. And I'm going to tell you, I'm taking that as a challenge because, as I said, our pre-registration for the April show is following the same pattern. So we're going to have another record-breaking show in April.
Well, it really is pretty cool. It's one of the things we talk about in Motorsports Unlimited. You know, during the summer, there are car shows, literally 2 or 3 of them every weekend, and that's wonderful. And I love the charmingness of it, the neighborhoodness of it, and all that. And I just, one of the car shows, for example, it just comes to mind off the top of my head. We do the Lions Father's Day car show every year, and it's in the neighborhood, among the residential houses.
Right.
I think that is so cool. I love it. But in the winter, let's face it, when you're going to do a car show in the winter, you got to be indoors, and that means a big, elaborate, expensive facility.
Right.
And how somehow Chicagoland supports 3 huge, elaborate car shows every year. Chevy Vet Fest opening the winter car show season, World of Wheels smack dab in the middle, and at the end, Chevy Vet Fest closing the winter car show season. I think we're pretty fortunate. Most cities don't have any of this during the winter.
Absolutely, and as I say, this is the only city that we're able to do that in and have 3 successful shows. As you can see by the crowd here tonight, and the smile on my face, we're having a great night.
Exceptional crowd, and as a matter of fact, Chicagoland, you can kind of pat yourselves on the back for this, that you've supported this effort, because without the public support, we don't have the shows.
Absolutely, and you got to remember, mark these dates on your calendar. We're 3rd week in January for World of Wheels, week before Thanksgiving for our inaugural Chevy Vet Fest, or our kickoff to the indoor show season, and we close out that show season always the 1st week of April.
Okay, and of course we mention this stuff all the time on Motorsports Unlimited. Now you got to say though, as much as I certainly do, I love the Chevy Vet Fest flow, and Al Perky and Ken Hanna are personal friends of mine, wonderful guys and all that. But you got to say, the World of Wheels is the granddaddy of them all.
Absolutely. And
46 years.
46 years. We're coming in on that 50th anniversary, and we, as you all know, Denny Guest and the South Oak Dodge crew, we've been working with them for many years, so we give our thanks to them, along with CarQuest, GM Performance Parts, and just everybody comes together for this show. It just gets better every year.
Matter of fact, I did a piece with Denny earlier because I had to tease him because he's got a 57 Ford on display, not a Mopar.
I was razzing him about that too, but as you know, Denny has quite a few dealerships in the Chicago area, but his car collection is phenomenal, and it's really neat that Denny every year brings cars from his own personal collection.
And he also is a real car guy.
Oh, absolutely, and he's here, as you know, running around and his smiles as big as mine.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I want to thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. Like I say, I promised you last time, I'm going to make more use of Bob Ashton. World of Wheels probably isn't the place for it because this is a big operation here, and he's pretty busy. But this guy knows the cars on display inside and out. You know the owners of them, where they were built, how long it took. I mean, you do like this stuff.
Oh, I live and breathe. I really do. This is my passion.
Well, we can all be comfortable that Bob Ashton is in charge of the World of Wheels and both Chevy Vet Fest shows.
We've mentioned World of Wheels keeps reinventing itself while keeping its tradition. The Chicago Brushmasters feature is part of what we mean.
As you all know by now, one of the things that I was really excited about this year's World of Wheels car show is what the Chicago Brushmasters are doing down here. For the first time, at least that I can remember, the artists in our support are being honored, and of course, those of you that have been watching Motorsports Unlimited for any length of time know that I've got one of the very best with me. This is Ken Sawinski, but you're not known as Ken Sawinski to any of these guys. They know you as Stitz.
That's correct, and this is the inaugural event, inaugural Pinstripers charity auction here at McCormick Place.
Well, what do you think? Are you excited about it?
It's really been great so far.
I want to know, do the guys feel flattered, the artists?
Oh yeah, it's a big opportunity. It's camaraderie, and it's for a charitable cause. It's for a good cause.
What's going on behind us right now?
Right now, the charity auction's taking place. We're at the 7 p.m. auction here at McCormick Place, and they're making money for the kids, and that's what it's all about.
Right. Essentially, what's happening here, folks, is that they've got probably 40 or 50 painters.
Probably about that. Yeah, there's some coming in, some going out. But tonight's a big night. Yeah, probably. Yeah, somewhere in that area.
40 or 50 painters right now. These are the finest automotive, motorsport, because some of these guys do motorcycles, some do boats, some do airplanes, some do all of it. Doesn't make any difference. And these are the finest in the country right here, and they're all painting, and they've been painting, I guess, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, tomorrow as well, yes.
And everything that they paint ends up getting auctioned off, and all of the proceeds go to the Ronald McDonald's charity.
That's right. That's correct.
Pretty cool.
No, it's wonderful. It's a great cause. Like I said, it gives an opportunity for the painters to get together, and I don't know what else to say. I mean,
I do. I do, because I know that it's important that we raise funds for a good cause and everything, but to me the most important thing is that the artists get the attention.
We're resurrecting the art form.
And that the artists get the attention that they're really entitled to. No question about it. And that's what's most important to me. Now, I dragged him out here because there's, like I say, he's painting back there right now, but I dragged him out here for a reason. You told a story that I didn't have room for on the last show that we did with you guys. Well, I tend to think of these guys, they're such gifted artists. I tend to think of these guys as somehow sitting down there hour after hour, making sure that they get the colors right and the forms right and the shapes right and all that. Now, Stitz is known as one of the finest pinstripers in the country. And yet, you didn't really start pinstriping.
No, not really. I started out as a sign painter. And the story you're referring to is a story about the tow truck.
That's exactly about the... This is one of the finest pinstripers in the country, and the way he started pinstriping, and how many years ago are we talking about?
We're coming up on 40.
Coming up on 40 years ago. Go ahead and tell the story.
Well, I think you had asked about how I started pinstriping, and I said that as a sign painter lettering a tow truck, I mean, if you went to go letter that tow truck, the fella says, hey, geez, I'd have a couple of stripes thrown on there. You couldn't tell the guy, well, geez, call a pinstriper, so you learn to pinstripe. I mean...
Okay, I'm going to tell the story exactly the way he told it, because this is what I'm good at. He goes to letter a tow truck. That means he puts some time into it. He's got to travel there. He gets there, starts doing the tow truck, and the guy says to him, oh, yeah, by the way, throw some pinstriping on. How am I doing?
Oh, excellent. You're right on track.
Okay, and then you don't want to lose the job.
Well, no, it's about making a living. It's about eating.
It's about eating. So it wasn't a matter of you finally saw a place to be the right palette for your fine skills. You didn't want to lose the lettering job.
Well, sure. If you're going to letter the truck, you surely don't want the guy to call someone else to do the pinstriping. So it's like, oh yeah, I guess I'm pinstriping.
Yeah, I pinstripe.
Right, exactly. And you get the brush out, and you start pinstriping. You learn to do that too. Sure.
And that's what started. And like I say, Stitz is known as, it's interesting. They all talk about it, and rightfully so, Dexter, of course. And Dexter is just an incredible star as far as being an artist and all that. Yep. And if you knew Ken, how can I say this tactfully? you throw nickels around like they're sewer covers, right?
No, oh, wait.
The reason I say that it is not like you to walk away from a job because you couldn't do the pinstriping, right?
Well, no, and you know, back then you were really hungry to learn. You know, I mean, you really want, and it was something you wanted to jump into, and meet that challenge. And of course, it's about the money. You know,
Right.
it's about eating. You know, it's about.
But my point is
but
that
if
you
don't-
actually years ago took a whole day off to watch Dexter letter a car.
Oh yeah, for sure. Shake, rattle, and run.
That's a big deal for you.
And Harry Simonson stock cars at Simonson's Auto Parts back in the late
Right.
'60s. Sure.
Now that gives you an idea. If you knew Ken, that's how important it was for him as a young artist to watch the great Dexter work, right?
Oh yeah, sure. You wanted to pick
You
up
lost
some of
a
that,
day's pay.
some of that technique, and just try and learn as much as you can. Sure.
Well, guess what? I went and taped a piece. Those of you who saw the show several weeks ago, I went to tape a piece there, watching many of these artists doing something called a panel jam. What he doesn't even realize yet, here we are now some 40 years later after he watched Dexter, every time he touches a brush, all the young artists come running and watch you work. I bet you didn't even notice.
No, you're usually busy, and I'm not paying attention to that. I
But
mean,
do you see how it's switched, how your admiration...
It's generational, sure.
These guys are now watching you like you watch Dexter. I
It's
hope
a
you're
cycle.
flattered by it.
I am. It's I don't know what to say.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you something. I know what to say, and we are going to talk to these guys at greater length tomorrow. We're at the World of Wheels here today on Saturday, and I'm covering the cars and motorcycles, and I better get to those motorcycles. And tomorrow I'm going to get to the Brush Masters. I just wanted to give you a little taste of this. I'm looking forward to it, and it sounds like they're raising some real money back there.
I hope it's really successful, Bill.
Okay, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us, and we better get to the motorcycles.
Watching great artists like Stitz, Pat Finley, Peter Pan, Larry Hansen, Joe Balabushko, Bob Bohonik, and so many others is worth the trip if you see nothing else. But there was much more, including an entire hall dedicated to motorcycles. Let's see what we can squeeze in.
And of course, as I said, motorcycles. As a matter of fact, I deliberately made it my last stop because the last time I did World of Wheels, I stopped at the motorcycles first and ended up doing 2/3 of the show on motorcycles because I'm a sucker for them. Well, guess what? I found an absolutely first-class piece of equipment here, and I understand you built it, and your name is?
Yes, sir. Anthony Starita.
And where are you from, Anthony?
Crete, Illinois.
Tell us about the bike.
Well, it took 2 months with my partner Ken Downs to build this radical behind me. War
First
Eagle.
start with the make, year, and model.
It's an 07. It's a Pro Chop. I named it One for the Money because it's our first production bike. And we figured we'd bring it to the show and see what people would say about it. And if it's a good turnout, well, I'm hoping to get it sold, and then we'll build another and do it over and over and over. And
what have you done to it?
Well, this one here just started out as just a regular frame. We sheet metaled in the seat. It's a 127-inch motor, custom paint, 300 tire.
Did you do any of the work?
Oh yeah, we, myself and my partner Kenny, we designed it. We put together the roller, pulled all the wires, which is just a long process to get all those wires.
Everything's hidden, yeah.
Yes. And it took about 3 weeks to after we got it back from paint polish and powder coat, and it took us about 3 weeks to put it together. I lost my mother-in-law in the midst of this, and it delayed it another week. And then I had surgery 2 weeks ago, and I'm here in the show. Actually, I should have my neck brace on right now, but
he took it off just for the interview.
Yes, that's right. And hopefully we do good with it. I'm hoping the public speaks to me and tells me what they think.
Well, it's a beautiful piece of work. Is there anything you're particularly proud of that I haven't thought to mention?
I don't know. The way it fell together, I mean, the bike's perfect. And that's from my coworkers and, everybody who comes around me, and they just think it's a perfect job. And I guess my anal retentivity came out on it,
Well, there's no question that it's beautiful. And folks, I often hear from people that they don't think there is any real art in America. To them, I say, go and look at the custom motorcycles. There's true art there.
Anthony's bike was extremely well received and won Best of Class. That's his wife, Barbara Ray, showing off the award. Now, let's see if we can squeeze in one more.
This absolutely makes me crazy, folks. Every time I come to these car shows, particularly World of Wheels, there's so many great pieces to look at that I run out of time long before I ever run out of program, and we're just about out of program. So I want to warn you, I'm going to go out on this piece. We're going to get as much information as we can. First of all, you are?
Ed Pasek.
Where are you from, Ed?
Penningfield, Illinois.
And you are?
Mark Pasek.
From?
Estero, Florida.
Okay, from Florida?
Yeah.
No wonder you got a tan.
Sure.
Okay, one of the things when I see a piece that's original and creative, it's like a magnet to me. Tell us what you've got here.
It's a three-wheel vehicle built on a Honda 954 CBR RR.
Tell the audience what that means. We're talking about a 4-cylinder inline double overhead cam 4-valve per cylinder engine?
That is correct. Fuel injected, rave valve, the works.
Okay, and liquid cooled?
Liquid cooled, yes.
Which means you can put it behind the driver on a 3-wheel vehicle?
That is correct.
Okay, the front of it looks something like a Indy car or a Formula One car?
Formula car, correct.
Okay, now what is the purpose of the vehicle? Because I would love it if you tell me it's a street vehicle.
It's for the street, that's correct.
I love that. Okay, but yet it has a race car look.
That is correct. We went for the race car feel. There's nothing out there like it, and that's why we chose that.
Have you driven it yet?
Yes, we have.
It's got to be a stunning performer.
It's extremely fast. I've had it up to 80 miles an hour so far, and it'll do 60 miles an hour in first gear.
I'm telling you something, the much overlooked thing is the high-tech.
He would never stop if he had his choice. And by the way, did you notice he wore that heavy coat the entire day? He's very proud of it. Unfortunately, we have to stop because we're out of time with only enough left to acknowledge the fine work of our award-winning production team, including Tom McGrady, Art Lauscha, our webmaster Frank Barbalace, Sue Cassandra. Special thanks to JBTV's Jerry Bryant. Music is created for us by independent artists Roger Pauley and Jerry Herbert. Of course, we have to take a moment to thank the stars of this edition of Motorsports Unlimited. Janine Lauscha, May Chin, and our host, Bill Wildt. Me, I'm Samantha Bentley, reminding you we can only show you a tiny portion of any event we cover. And the world of wheels is so big and elaborate, we're lucky if we succeed in giving you a small taste. There were celebrities there too. I saw Fonzie. You have to go in person to really enjoy it. But we tried our best. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
This program made possible in part by support from Copy That, located in the County Farm Plaza at County Farm Road and Army Trail Road in Carroll Stream, Illinois. This program made possible in part by support from PB Food Products, located on 47th Street at Western Avenue in Chicago, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from J.C. Whitney & Company, located just off I-80 at the Utica exit in LaSalle, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from Jimmy's Red Hots, located on Grand Avenue and Pulaski Road in Chicago.
Motorsports Unlimited is produced by Bill Wildt, president of the Motorsport Advancement Crusade.
This program made possible in part by support from the Chicagoland Toys for Tots Motorcycle Parade held on Western Avenue in Chicago, the first Sunday in December.
This program made possible in part by support from ABC Auto Parts, located on Ashland Avenue at 138th Street in Blue Island, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from Bridgestone Firestone and your local Bridgestone Firestone tire retailers.
Motorsports Unlimited was created to raise public consciousness, understanding, and appreciation of the motorsport community and their activities. You can contact us by email at msutv.com, or you can write to Motorsport, P.O. Box 66242, Chicago, Illinois, 60666. We enjoy hearing from our audience. Please let us know what you think.
All right. Next week on Motorsports Unlimited, it's the Chicago Brushmasters at the Whirl of Wheels. We've been talking about it for months, and it finally happened. All the great motorsport artists in the Midwest creating art for a charity auction. Just wait until you hear how much money they raised. All next week on Motorsports Unlimited.
So that's it, another edition of Motorsports Unlimited and the lovely ladies of motorsports. And be with us next week because we'll have something real exciting. Bill Wildt's going to have the lovely ladies, and just about anything can happen right here on Motorsports Unlimited. Every week at this time, we bring you the best in motorsports. So be seeing ya. Bye-bye. And keep on rocking.